work in progress, but DeAndre Johnson went at the end. He didn't play a lot, but he was very productive and wanted more playing time. Shy Tuttle, getting him back in there was pretty cool. So you got Shy, Khalil, Alexis played some, Quay played some, and obviously Vic, Kendall Vickers inside. So it was better. And at linebacker, Batuli's continued to surge and play at a real high level. So, I think we more so than the other game. And obviously, he didn't have 96 snaps. He only had 50-some snaps. So that's positive.
Held him to 0 for 11 on third downs. What were the other things that you liked about the defense?
7 points, 200 yards. As I said to everybody, certainly, maybe to the naked eye, it's kind of hard to tell, but that was a really kind of unorthodox and intricate offense. And we felt it was our best plan to keep it simple and play just a couple defenses. And the guys executed those at a fairly high level. We certainly, are going to play better competition than that, and are very, very well aware of that. And but that was good. We came out healthy, and we didn't show a significant amount to our upcoming opponents.
Coach, can you just clear up this where guys line up thing? I mean, I've heard all sorts of things out there. Obviously, against Georgia Tech, you're
What do you mean, the D-line?
Yeah, off the ball. What's the reality of what's going on there?
There isn't. Someone asked me about that yesterday. Our guys didn't line up off the ball the other game. They lined up. Georgia Tech. We asked the tackles to slightly move off the ball because we were doing some movements and things like that to avoid cut blocks. During the course of the game, we continually, made attempts to correct them because I thought they were a little too far off the ball. Which, kids, that's a natural tendency, and you have to be precise in your alignments. And sometimes they weren't as precise as we wanted them to be. But there was no difference. We were. Maybe a snap or two where guys were misaligned, but we want to be on the line of scrimmage, and we want to create a new line of scrimmage, and that's what our aim is to do this week against Florida.
Bob, are y'all expecting Scarlett and Callaway to play for Florida this week?
I don't know. Certainly, we've watched the Michigan game where they didn't, and we've watched games from last year where they did, and we have a lot of respect for both Callaway and Scarlett. And we're preparing to play against whoever they put out there, and very, very well aware of those two players.
How does that impact the way you kind of
Not really. No, Coach McElwain and his offensive staff do a great job, and they've always played a lot of receivers. They've always played a lot of backs, and they probably have as much question at the quarterback position too. So we watched both those guys. We watched in the summertime. We watched Zaire from Notre Dame, and he went into this game in a difficult situation because they were a little bit behind, but he and Franks are both very, very talented, and they're good players. They're a scary team, to me, because they I think they certainly have talent at most every offensive position.
Bob, what would you rate maybe setting the edge through the first couple of games, knowing that the Georgia Tech game was a challenge, but how do you feel like your ends and corners have set the edge on sideline to sideline type runs, wide runs?
Well, yesterday, if it's the question is about, like a lot of people asked about sweeps in the game the other day. The game plan specifically against Indiana State was not to keep the box intact. Let the Mike, the Will, and the Sam linebacker have all their keys and reads the same all the time, and let them run to the perimeter. Not let them, but if there was going to be a weakness, it was going to be to run to the perimeter, knowing that we were the faster team and could chase things down. In a game like Georgia Tech or a game against Florida, you may structure your defense a little bit differently. So that was, specifically for that particular game plan. They didn't have a run over 12 yards in the game, and we held them under 3.3 yards a rush, and like I said, 7 points and 200 yards. So, we did what we needed to do to win that particular game. In that situation, we'd have a very different game plan to get ready for Florida.
Are you looking forward to being more aggressive and maybe playing more of your style of defense after having two unusual offenses and two unusual ground plans?
I think the players are. Certainly it was very unorthodox. To get back to the things maybe you practice on a more daily basis. Georgia Tech certainly requires you not to change your defense, but to play a specific set of calls. And a team like this, like I said, is the exact same way. It's in many, many, many ways. Indiana State was as unorthodox and intricate an offense as Georgia Tech, and it was a good opportunity for us to to go out there and play against it because LSU runs a similar style offense. That's who they in their off-season researched. Matter of fact, they did very, very few plays that they did when they were at the previous place, and they did very, very few plays that they did even in the opening game. They changed significantly from game 1 to game 2.
Last year against Florida, I think in the second half, your defense forced them 3 and out on 7 of the 8 possessions. How different is Florida's offense from what you saw the second half of last year? Is it a whole new scheme, or is there a lot of similarities and carryover?
No, I think there's a lot of carryover. I mean, they're an 11 and 12 personnel team, which means they have 11 personnel means 1 back, 1 wide receiver. Or excuse me, 1 back, 3 wide receivers, and 1 tight end. And they're a 12 personnel team where they have 1 back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and they have a lot of formations, and they're very, very well coached. I mean, we just studied a lot of their third down stuff today, and I think out of the X amount of snaps we watched, there was almost just as many formations. So they shift, trade, motion, they do all those things. And last year, I think our guys, in that particular game, I thought our guys in the second half settled in a little bit better and played better. But they certainly have skill at the wide out. Early in the game, we gave up a couple long passes, and that put us behind the 8 ball to start with, and we really had to battle back. And we played pretty well in the second half.
Bob, when you go ahead. Coach Bob, what's it been like to watch Kyle kind of evolve?
Yeah.
Having one of his games last week.
Yeah, he was our player of the game on defense. Kyle Phillips was, and Kyle's, it's really, you guys all probably have gotten to know him a little bit. He's hard not to like. I mean, he's a local kid who came in highly, with big accolades out of high school, and not that it's his time now. He's battled the injury situation, which has probably prevented him from maybe reaching his fullest potential. But in the last 2 games, he's played pretty good, and I've said all along, I really feel like between him and Taylor and Kongbo, we have 3 pretty good DNs, and to see DeAndre Johnson get a sack and a strip, ball disruption the other day was positive. So that we need all those guys.
Whenever you snap